Hi, this is Olajide from CTF Security and welcome to another 2023 Integrity Capture the Flag Security Challenge titled Bug Report. In this video, we will exploit an SQL vulnerability in Websocket and JSON Web Token implementation. Let's uncover potential risks and understand how attackers take advantage of these web security weaknesses. And I can promise you, this challenge is set to be particularly exciting considering the number of solves it gets in the competition. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so welcome back to the CTF challenge. The title of this challenge is Bug Report Repo. It has total number of 64 solved during the CTF competition and total number of 342 points awarded to this challenge. Now we have our challenge description and it says, I started my own bug bounty platform. The user interface is in the early stages, but we have already got plenty of submission. I wonder why I keep getting emails about a critical vulnerability report, though I don't see it anywhere on the system. Now the author of this challenge is CryptoCards and we have link to proceed with our challenge. So I'm just going to spawn that link up quickly. Now we got the interface of our challenge, which is very interesting. Now we have different columns on this web application that specify different parameters within the applications. We have the ID, categories, description, severity, CVSS, status, report date. Now if you take a look at the severity part, we have bug severity ranging from high, medium and low. So we don't really have this particular critical vulnerability that the author of this challenge is complaining about, meaning there's something missing on this web application which we need to find. Now if you scroll down here, you see that we have a particular input feed here and it says bug ID. Now here we can enter the ID of a particular bug report and we get information regarding to that bug report. Now let's just test this out. Now let's say we want to get information about the bug ID 1. If I go in here and I type in 1, you see that we get bug report from Alice is open. Now what is strange here is that we do not have any column specifying the name of the individual that submitted the bug report. So this is strange, meaning that this application is pulling these names from somewhere on the database. Now if I go to the second individual, let's say 2, you see that it says bug report from Bob is open. What if I go to 7? Okay, 7, you can see it, bug report from Grace is closed. So what we need to do now is to find a way we can get into the system. First of all, we want to discover the critical bug report the author of this challenge is complaining of. And secondly, we want to get our flag to this challenge. Now let's just get into this quickly. Now, before we begin to exploit this web application, the first thing we need to do is to find the hidden bug the author of the challenge is complaining about. If you take a look at the ID parameter that we have total number of 10 reports here listed on the web application. What we can do is try to add 1 to the total number here. We can say 11 and you can see that we have a bug which is not listed on the web application, which is from someone called Ethical Hacker. So we can also try to access 12 to see if we have any bug report. So we don't really have any bug report on 12. Let's say 13. Okay, no bug report. So 11 is the hidden bug report that we are looking for. Okay, now we can go back to exploiting the application. So now we need to start thinking out of the box. How can we exploit this input field that we have here? And the first thing that will come to my mind is to perform an SQL injection in this input field. For those of us that are not familiar with what SQL injection is, an SQL injection is a kind of attack that occurs when an attacker is able to manipulate a website or application SQL query by injecting malicious SQL code into the input field. Now we have an input field here that allows us to enter a value in and then query the database for a particular information. So we can try to abuse that. Now there are different types of SQL injections that we can have. We could have an error-based SQL injection that has to do with the error displayed to the attacker. We also have a Boolean-based SQL injection. We have time-based SQL injection. We have blind SQL injection. But what we're going to be trying in this video is Boolean SQL injection. But to do that, I need to fire up my Bob suite. So I need to ensure my Bob suite is intercepting traffic. Let's go in and just send 7 and see the Bob suite intercept this request. Okay, this is from API. Can I do that again? Let's see. Let's erase this and put 7 again. Then we should be able to have a request. Okay, now we have our 7. So we have an ID and 7 is being queried within this ID. So what we can do is to manipulate this value here. We can have, let's just send this to repeater. And from the repeater, we could have, let's say, I change this to and 1 equals to 1, which is a true statement. Let's reconnect. So if I send this request, and by the way, you can see that this application is using a WebSocket. So once I send the request, I get information in my proxy, so I can forward the proxy and see what we got. So this is what we got here. You can see bug report from Grace. And if I go in here and change this from true statement to a false statement and I forward, you see that we got bug not found, which we have been able to determine the condition of this query. Now we can begin to get malicious than we already are. Now let's put on our thinking cap. An individual reported a critical bug. Definitely on the description there will be an information pertaining the bug discovered. So what we can do is to write an automated script that can extract the description from the database. Then we can take a look at this information to proceed with our attack. Now I've made a lot of research. There are some SQL injection payload that we can use to extract information from a particular target, and I have modified this script in order to suit this challenge. So I'm just going to be showing you the script in a moment. So let's go to our terminal, and from our terminal let's check the list of files I have on this bug report directory. So we have the ws.py, and if I cat ws.py, we can take a look at the content of this script. So the first part of the script is we're importing some Python modules in order to work with, and if I scroll down you can see that we have the string module, we have the base64, and we have the Websocket. We also define a SQLI function which takes 3 parameters, the ws, the qleft, and the characters. We also appended the ID we want to work with and how we want to extract our data from the application. We also send the data using the WebSocket, and when we receive back our data we kind of check the content of the data which is in the temp variable to see if we have the open in the response, and if this is there, it's going to output this out. Then we also have another function that defines exploit WebSocket and takes in the target, which happens to be the URL for the machine, and it creates a new variable and assign an empty space to it, creating of our WebSocket, which is the WebSocket.create connection. We also have creating the template. Aside from that, interestingly here, we're able to perform an infinite loop which checks for character in string.printable. String.printable contains all the list of ASCII characters that are printable in Python. Then we also have a conditional statement here which checks the SQLI function which we describe above. I think, where is it? Okay, yeah, this SQLI function which we declared above, and then we have the dumped plus equals to character, which is going to take every extracted character in the description and then dump it inside this variable here, and it's going to be printed out, and this iteration is going to continue. Then finally we're going to break out of the loop, we're going to close our connection, and then the main function is going to just declare the target. Now this is just the brief explanation of the script we're going to be using for this attack. So I'm going to run the script so that we can see how this script works. Let's clear the screen. We're going to use Python 3 ws.py. I'm going to execute. So this is going to continue extracting the content of the description column on the web application, which is this column, for ID number 11 only. So we can modify the code to also read other ID if we want to. Let's go back and see what we have. So it's extracting data. The first character is able to extract is C, the next one is R, and the next one is Y. Now this is going to take a while, so I'm just going to pause the video and we're going to continue when we are done extracting the description data. Okay, so let's check the progress of our attack. If we scroll down, you can see that we have some credential here, and this happens to be the username and a password. And we also have a directory which says admin zone. So we're going to access this directory and see what we've got. So let's just grab that quickly. I'm going to copy. Let's make sure for now, okay, let's just go ahead and intercept, and I'm just going to forward this request, and let's go back to the box search. So what we can do here is to just append the directory to the URL that we have, and we can try to access. So the Bob suite is going to capture this, then we can head to the Bob suite, and then I'm going to forward this, and we have a get request to the admin zone. So let's just send this and let's see what we got. And this happens to be a login panel for secure admin login, and we are required to enter a username and password. So we're just going to use the credential we got earlier. We're going to use the crypto, and I'm going to append that here, and let's go back and grab the password, and we're going to put that in here. Then I'm going to log in. This is going to be captured by Bob, so we have to send it from here. So let's forward the credential. Okay, so interestingly, we have a cookie, and by merely looking at this cookie, for the fact that they start with the EYH, it looks like the JWT token. But for now, I'm just going to forward this, and let's see what we've got on the interface. As you can see, we have a welcome screen here, and it says welcome crypto. This is the configuration page. The config key is only viewable by the admin, and currently we're logging as crypto, so we need to find a way to escalate our privilege to an admin. So what we can do is to refresh this page. Should I do that? Okay, so I'm just going to send this. This is not the request we're looking for. Let's just do that again. Okay, cool. So we are refreshing the page, and if you take a look at the cookie that we have here, we have the auth equals to this JSON Web Token. So what we can do is to grab this token and head to a website called JSON Web Token. So from here we can try to analyze this particular JSON token that we have. So I'm going to clear the default JSON Web Token that we have here, and I'm going to paste our token in here. And if you check at the decoded area here, you can see that we have information regarding this web token that we posted here, and it says that it is using an algorithm HS256. The type is JWT, and then if you scroll down to the payload, we have the identity to be crypto. I beg your pardon. Now what we need to do, if you scroll down, is we need to get the secret key for this particular encryption, so that we can be able to forge our own identity in order to log in as the admin. And in order to do this, we need John to crack the secret key. So the first thing we're going to do is to move to our terminal. So I'm going to use this part here. Same on the same directory, I have another application called the JWT, which is the JSON Web Token to John. Now what this tool is going to do is, it's not going to crack the secret key, but it's going to convert the data we have, which is the JSON data, into a format that is recognizable by John. Then we can now use John along with the raw keyword list to crack the secret key. So let's just start that quickly. I'm going to cut the file so that you can see it. jwt.py john.py. So you can see the content of the file. If you want to download this script, you can easily go to this particular website. I'm going to post this link in the video description, so you can just get the link from there. Just hit the download and you go ahead and download the script. Now let's go back to our script. I'm going to clear this. So what I need to do is to run Python 3, and then we're going to specify the JWT to John.py, and then we're going to pick our JSON Web Token, copy, then we head to the terminal. We're going to put this in quote, and then we're going to redirect it to a name called JSON, let's call it JWT hash, and then we're going to enter. So this has been converted to JWT hash, and we can cut the information within that. So you can see it has been converted to a format that is recognizable by John. Next thing we need to do is to crack this using John. So we're going to specify John, and then we're going to issue the JWT hash, which is the name of the hash file. Then we're going to supply our word list equals to. Now, one thing I like to do is to get the location of my word list. So I'm just going to cancel this first. Let's clear the screen. Then we can get location raw queue, which is the word list we're going to be using, and then we can get the actual path to the raw queue. I'm going to grab that. So let's bring back our command. Okay, that's not there, so we can still work with that anyway. So we can use the John JWT hash, then we can specify the word list equals to. Now, because I've cracked this password before, you see it says using default input encoding, loaded one password hash, password is key, and it says no password hash left to crack, meaning that John has cracked this password before. If you're trying it for the first time, your own cracked password might be displayed on the screen, but since I've done this before, I have to go to John show, then I'll issue the JWT hash in order to see the actual password. So you can see our password is cut at the best. So I'm going to grab this password. Then we can head to the JW token, where we're going to manipulate our identity. So I'm going to change this to admin, and then I'm going to issue our secret key here, which is the password. So cats are the best is the password that we're going to use to sign this data. So after doing this, you can just go ahead and copy the new JSON Web Token. I'm going to grab this and let's go to the Bob suite. Now what we're going to do here on the Bob suite is to forward this to repeater. Now on the repeater, we're going to switch this web token, or this cookie rather, and I'm going to replace it with our new cookie for the admin, and we're going to send this. Okay, so you can see we have bounty repo admin config, and we have our flag in here. So what we can do is to grab this request that has been tested and trusted. Then we can go to the proxy. We're going to replace this with the request from the repeater, and then we're going to send. I'm going to send other requests that come along with it. Forward, forward, forward. Make sure you forward everything. So we can head back to the application and then we can view our flag here. So we've done two things. We've discovered the individual that submitted the critical bug report, and we finally found our flag. We gain access to the admin account, and at the same time we have access to our flag. So guys, that will be all in this video. Please make sure you like, subscribe and share. I'll see you in the next video.